0217 a.m., Caribbean Sea, 60 nautical miles off Cartagena. Lieutenant Marcus Chen's radar screen erupted with contacts. 5 vessels, moving fast at 22 knots, running completely dark. No navigation lights, no transponders, no electronic identification, no legitimate reason to exist in international waters at this hour. Chen leaned forward aboard the P-8A Poseidon patrol aircraft, circling at 28,000 feet. The AN/APY-10 synthetic aperture radar painted the ocean surface in crystalline detail. 4,000 radar snapshots per second, stitched together into photographic clarity. In total darkness, from 5 miles up, he could read hull numbers. Shadow 2 to Fleet Command. I have 5 surface contacts bearing 085, speed 22 knots, distance 60 miles from Cartagena. Vessels running without lights or identification. Recommend immediate intercept. The response crackled back. Shadow 2, maintain surveillance. USS Freedom is inbound. ETA 20 minutes. Weapons authorized. The cartel convoy ran silent. Confident darkness protected them. They had no idea Invisible died when the Soviet Union collapsed. Shadow 2's sensors could differentiate a 2,000-ton cargo vessel from a 3,000-ton freighter from 150 miles away. The cartels were hiding in a room made of glass, absolutely convinced the lights were off. Intelligence had tracked whispers for weeks. Venezuelan and Mexican cartels partnering. Los Sentinelis joining the Gulf Syndicate. Moving 5 tons of methamphetamine and fentanyl. $30 billion in street value. This wasn't smuggling. This was industrial chemical warfare disguised as humanitarian relief. If you appreciate this tactical analysis, hit that subscribe button now. We break down modern military operations with technical precision, and your support helps us bring more untold stories of 21st century warfare to light. The USS Freedom cut through swells at 42 knots. Water jet propulsion churning white wake. Commander Sarah Mitchell stood in the Combat Information Center, watching tactical displays update through encrypted Link 16. The Freedom-class littoral combat ship was designed for this. Fast response in coastal waters. Her COMBATSS-21 combat system processed data from Shadow 2 overhead. 5 hostile contacts displayed. Position, course, speed, thermal signatures. Above deck, 2 MH-60R Seahawk helicopters spun rotors, engines warming. Each carried 4 crew, M240 machine guns, and AGM-114 Hellfire missiles. 6,000 meters overhead, an MQ-9 Reaper circled on station, streaming infrared video to operators in Florida. The Reaper carried 6 Hellfire missiles. Each could turn an engine block into molten scrap from 3 miles away. Intel confirmed this wasn't typical smuggling. Mobile chemical synthesis labs aboard 5 disguised cargo vessels. Floating factories producing fresh methamphetamine batches every 4 hours in international waters. The technology was sophisticated. Lithium power cells, industrial reactors, equipment requiring state sponsorship. Someone in Caracas had signed off. The cartel planned carefully. Humanitarian flags, forged documentation, routes blending with legitimate shipping. They'd studied patrol patterns, identified gaps, timed their run perfectly. Smart tactics. But they'd miscalculated critically. They assumed geography would protect them. What worked in the age of wooden ships didn't account for synthetic aperture radar or data links transmitting at light speed. Advanced when Christopher Columbus was navigating by stars. The game had changed. Mitchell studied the tactical plot. Thermal imaging showed 70 armed fighters across 5 vessels. AK-103 rifles. PKM machine guns, RPG-7 launchers, former Venezuelan special forces gone private. They'd positioned vessels in crescent formation, textbook tactics, overlapping coverage, like playing hide and seek with an opponent who doesn't realize you own thermal satellites, making darkness irrelevant. Freedom's Mark 110 57mm gun could reach 9 miles. Rolling airframe missiles provided layered defense. Mark 44 Bushmaster cannons could shred boats at close range. But this required precision. Capture vessels, seize drugs, gather intelligence, turn this into a coup, dismantling networks across continents. Mitchell gave the order. Launch Seahawks, weapons free on my command. The helicopters lifted off, rotors beating humid air. The Reaper adjusted orbit for optimal firing geometry. The trap had 3 layers. Shadow 2 providing surveillance from altitude. The Reaper offering precision strikes. The Seahawks delivering close support. And Freedom coordinating through encrypted networks, updating faster than human processing. The cartel formation held steady, confident. Unaware, 4 weapon systems tracked every move, calculating firing solutions. They thought they were hunters. They had no idea they were already in the kill box. 03:23 a.m. exactly. Mitchell's voice cut through. All units, commence Operation Irontide. Freedom's loudspeakers boomed in Spanish. Stop your vessels immediately. Prepare to be boarded. This is your only warning. The response was instantaneous. 70 automatic weapons opened fire simultaneously. Muzzle flashes erupted. Tracer rounds arced like orange comets. The formation lit up, turning Black Caribbean into a strobe show of small arms fire. Probability of peaceful surrender had been 97%. The remaining 3% was wishful thinking. 3% just became 0. The Seahawks banked hard, pulling 4G turns. Door gunners opened up with M240 machine guns. The helicopters worked in tandem, one suppressing while the other repositioned. Classic fire and maneuver. Below, Freedom's Mark 110 roared. 220 rounds per minute. Each shell screaming at 910 meters per second, twice the speed of sound. The impacts were surgical. One shell obliterated a PKM position. White phosphorus flash. The gunner saw the muzzle bloom. The shell arrived before sound did. His position ceased to exist. The lead vessel's captain gunned engines, attempting to break north at 24 knots. Bad decision. Overhead, the Reaper's targeting computer calculated intercept geometry, wind speed, target velocity, Earth's rotation. The Hellfire didn't chase targets. It flew to where targets would be. Mathematics doesn't care about desperation. The operator in Florida designated target with infrared laser. The Hellfire dropped, motor ignited, accelerated to Mach 1.3, 3 miles in 16 seconds. The captain never saw it coming. 20 pounds of high explosive struck the engine compartment. The blast vaporized the diesel engine. The vessel lurched sideways, dead in the water, steam venting. The distress beacon activated automatically. A satellite logged the signal, forwarded data to Coast Guard. The same network coordinating their destruction was arranging their rescue. Modern warfare, efficient to the end. 2 more vessels opened fire with RPG launchers. 6 rockets total. Smoke trails arcing toward Freedom. Completely useless against automated defensive systems. Freedom's rolling airframe system responded without human input. 8 RIM-116 missiles ripple-fired. Each used dual-mode guidance. The missiles intercepted all 6 threats. Mid-air detonations. Total engagement time, 4.3 seconds. The cartels had spent $200 million building this fleet, all designed to fight close range where American technology couldn't save them. Except the Americans weren't fighting close range. They fought from different zip codes, using sensors enemies couldn't detect, weapons cartels couldn't counter. Like robbing a bank during a police convention while wearing a name tag and live streaming it. The second Seahawk dropped to wave top height. Thermal sensors identified fighter concentrations. The crew chief leaned out with GAU-2150 caliber machine gun. Heavy rounds tore through containers. One fighter aimed an RPG at the helicopter. The pilot saw him on infrared, jinked left. The gunner put 3 rounds through center mass. The fighter collapsed. Mitchell gave the order. Reaper 1, engage fleeing targets. Engine rooms only. 2 more Hellfires dropped. Both flew unerring trajectories. First missile struck at 0327. Second followed 3 seconds later. Both vessels lost propulsion. Dead in water. Finished. 0332 a.m. Fight over. Total elapsed time, 9 minutes. Shadow 2 circled overhead documenting everything. Freedom closed to boarding range. Seahawks established overwatch. FBI and DEA tactical teams prepared to board. Mitchell watched the display. 43 cartel fighters dead, 26 wounded. The rest surrendered. Not a single American casualty. The technology gap wasn't a gap. It was a canyon. Boarding teams moved fast. First payload discovered within minutes. Industrial drums marked medical supplies - Caracas. FBI chemist ran field tests. 5,000 kilograms of methamphetamine and fentanyl. She did the math. 18 million lethal doses. Enough to kill every person in Florida twice. Then they found the nightmare, hidden behind false bulkheads. Portable chemical synthesis equipment. Lithium reactors producing 2,000 pounds of precursors weekly. Industrial centrifuges, vacuum distillation. This wasn't a drug shipment. This was a floating chemical weapons factory. State-of-the-art equipment that shouldn't exist outside military laboratories. The intelligence haul was staggering. 3.6 million in Venezuelan currency, 90 encrypted hard drives, tactical satellite phones, forged customs documents from 6 countries, and a laptop still logged into offshore banking. The operator forgot operational security when shooting started. DEA cyber specialist scrolled through open files. Bank accounts in Panama, Dubai, Macau, Hong Kong, shell companies in 12 countries, supply chains tracing lithium reactors to Venezuelan state defense contractors, Chinese chemical suppliers, Mexican distribution networks mapped to street cells in 15 American cities. She looked up. This isn't a bust. This is a blueprint. Shadow 2 detected 5 ships. Boarding teams uncovered an empire. By 0600, smoke drifted across calm water. Sun broke orange over horizon. Mitchell reviewed intelligence summary. 5 vessels captured, 70 casualties, 30 billion in contraband seized. Complete intelligence map spanning 3 continents. She ran cost analysis. Venezuela lost 200 million in vessels and equipment, 70 personnel, years of planning destroyed. The United States expended 14 Hellfires at 70,000 each. That's 980,000. 6 rolling airframe missiles at 300,000 total. 8,000 rounds worth 36,000. Fuel and operations added 200,000. Total American cost, 2.3 million. Return on investment? Dismantling a narco state's revenue stream, exposing financial networks across a dozen countries. The math wasn't close. It was humiliating. Expensive tuition for a lesson available free on Wikipedia. Mitchell keyed encrypted channel. Freedom actual to Southcom. Operation Irontide complete. 5 vessels neutralized. 0 friendly casualties. Intelligence haul substantial. This wasn't counter-narcotics. This was decapitation of state-sponsored chemical weapons program. The encrypted ledgers traced money to Venezuelan government accounts.
Lithium reactors bore serial numbers matching Chinese military contractors. Synthesis equipment used technology restricted under chemical weapons conventions. This was state-sponsored narco-terrorism with profit motive. The cartels thought they'd lost 5 vessels. They'd lost the entire system, making those vessels possible. Modern naval warfare isn't about who shoots first. It's about who sees first, who processes faster, who delivers surgical violence from ranges enemies can't comprehend. The P-8A detected them from 28,000 feet, using radar painting hole numbers in darkness. The Reaper struck from 6,000 meters, with missiles guided by mathematics. The Seahawks maneuvered using thermal imaging, turning night into day. Freedom coordinated through encrypted networks, updating faster than thought. The cartels brought rifles to a sensor fight, brought diesel engines against turbines doing 42 knots, brought RPGs against missiles flying Mach 1.3. Physics doesn't negotiate. Technology doesn't care. The cost-benefit of fighting opponents with orbital surveillance, real-time data links, and precision weapons is always the same. You lose. Quickly. Expensively. Completely. Like playing poker against someone who owns the casino, prints the cards, watches through ceiling cameras,
and knows your hand before you look at it. Technically possible to win. Mathematically improbable. Strategically inadvisable. If you found this breakdown valuable, hit subscribe and share this video. We bring detailed analysis of modern military operations with technical precision. Understanding how sensor fusion, network-centric warfare, and precision strike actually function matters. Because the next conflict won't look like the last one. It'll look like this. Networked. Precise. Overwhelming. And over before the losing side realizes what happened.